what I am going to be doing. Yes. So yes, we are live. We are live. I love this. Hello, 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 everybody. Just to start on this, um, and sure, if you have any group or page or anything, share the live, please, if you wouldn't mind. It does help. Like I'm sharing to my own timeline. We're in the group, but I'm also sharing to my timeline. So
I'm gonna
I'm very excited about this. What what we are going to be doing here. Uh, and just to start, I'm going to sort of be a bit vague in the beginning, maybe, or speak about it more in general terms, while it gives people time to join, right? Um,
okay.
it always takes a little bit of time for people to connect. Uh, Let me just put this up. Um, if you want to share the link to anybody, I click on the live and bring it up in full screen, and then take the link from the top. Then it gives a direct link. Do you know what I mean?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay. I
And
just
also,
shared it.
I do that anyway because uh, well, I got to put off the sound when you go in like that, and it automatically puts the sound on, and you got to put it off, or else you hear double sound. I also do that
Mhm.
because it makes when you have comments. If you're just looking at it on the timeline, you only see like 4 comments, but when you click on it and you bring it up
Yeah.
just in itself, then you'll see all the comments. Yeah, it's just a weird thing that's peculiarity of Facebook. Who knows?
No problem. Okay.
Brilliant.
You're fine.
Brilliant. You can join us, Lou. You can join us. You can join us. Yeah.
No, no, she wants to like climb on top of me because of the thunder.
Oh, well, not
So,
that much. Yeah, 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 yeah. Put her under your legs, maybe.
okay. And
Put your legs over her.
before I,
Oh, never mind.
before
Good.
she's a little too big for that. Um, she's a big dog. She's not a lap dog, that's for sure.
Yeah. Or the legs are
Um,
too short. Either way.
but okay, hold on a second. My Zoom is wanting to crash again, and I'm not
Oh,
sure why. So
oh.
I'm going to close the app and come back in because it's telling
Okay.
me Zoom is not
Okay.
responding.
Okay. Or
So,
or just put or before you go, just try putting off your video for a bit and let it stabilize.
well, it
Doesn't matter.
apparently is something with Zoom because it will not let me share my screen.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon. No problem. No problem. Yeah, you crashed already. You crashed already. All right. So I'm sharing a vision that I have. Yes. And this is a profound vision. I'm not only sharing a vision, but I'm sharing my heart and soul. What is my moreness? What drives me? What inspires me? What's a big deal to me? And it's not just a singular thing. This is a project. It's a big, big cohesive project, has many parts and many elements to it. Now, most of you know, and if you've seen me on Zoom, you've seen the Soul Sebastian Way of Impeccability behind me, and now you see Moreness Project. So, Way of Impeccability is the core of everything. It is the foundation, yes, as it has to be. Yeah. I'll just wait for Shirt to come back on again. Okay.
Okay,
Um,
we're going to try to do this uninterrupted.
and oh, it's all good. It's all good. No worries. I was saying I'm sharing my vision, right? Sure. This is what the next couple of months are going to be about, sharing this vision in detail, in story form as
Mhm.
well. And not only sharing the vision, but I'm sharing my heart, my soul. I'm really sharing who I am in my totality. I'm sharing my moreness. Yes. At least as I feel my moreness, because it's not necessarily what I am as now. I'm sharing what I wish to be, what I deeply, deeply, deeply aspire to be, what I work towards being every single day. Yes, and I have all my life. Right now, this is taking it all the way to the end, at least as far as I can see that end. Right, and this is a very big deal. And also, this idea, this vision, this moreness, it is about a community, about society, about the world, about living and being differently. If you really get down to it, it's about shifting the paradigm. We can't necessarily change or undo the prevailing paradigm, but we certainly can start to implement and live a new paradigm. I can't emphasize enough how critically, massively important this is. If we continually subscribe to the old paradigm, we're never going to get out of it. Yes, and we have to really pay attention to this. And in this paying attention and in bringing about our own new paradigms, and there's a whole host of them that we can do. I'm simply going to share one, which can fall under the noble ideal or the paradigm of nobleness, yes, or the paradigm of moreness. All fits into the same thing. Now, moreness doesn't necessarily include nobleness, right? Like impeccability doesn't necessarily include nobleness. Nobleness is by definition bonus goodness. You don't have to do it. There's absolutely no need for you to do it. And if you don't behave nobly, it's not wrong. It's not bad. You're not deficient. No, it's bonus. And even if you are in a space of having an intent to be noble, not always are you going to do that whenever you feel like it, right? This is it. There's no necessity for it. It's very important to understand this. It's a bonus. And therefore, somebody who's being noble is doing above and beyond. And if they choose to do it, it doesn't make you less by comparison. That this is completely erroneous, right? It has nothing to do with it. It's just, well, that's what you want to do. That's what you do. Okay, no problem. It's like you want to go and get a medal in the Olympics. Well, good for you. I enjoy sports, but I don't want to take it to that level. Thank you very much. It's way too much effort for me. But it's effort reward. For those who are into this, they choose to do this. They choose to do this. It just works for them. It's according to their inner predilections. Also, in this sharing, I am not going to be holding back anything. In other sharings, I've adapted relative to the audience that is, and this is no. I'm not holding anything back here. So there's no moderation, no mollification, none of that. No holding back, right? So sharing the fullness of the depth of sophistication and discernment and awareness and understanding and multi-layeredness, right? So I'm really going to be sharing what is very sophisticated, right, Sher? There's a lot in it.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot in it. And this is it, I'm not going to apologize for that moreness. If it's a lot, well, just ask. If somebody wants to know more, just ask. This is it. This is the point of this. It's sharing the moreness. It's a moreness project. It's the full name of it is the Way of Impeccability, Self-Expansion, Moreness Project. Yes. So this is a big deal. It follows on from Way of Impeccability. Way of Impeccability is the groundwork, the foundation. These are your core abilities. Now we are going into the bonus stuff, the moreness. Yeah. Right, Sir?
Yes. I was going to say for the
Please.
benefit of those who don't know what moreness is that are listening,
Wonderful.
how about maybe you elaborate on what you see moreness as?
That's a powerful, cool point. Brilliant. Norma is here and she says hello. Norma, yes, she says hello, sir. Hello, Norma. I'm so pleased to hear. And Bina, happy that you're here too. Bina says, this is something truly special. I'm saying from a personal experience. Thank you so much for sharing, Sil and Cher. Yes. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Yes, this is really cool.
Bina.
So, yeah, hello, Bina. And hello, Norma, too. Norma says hello, Cher, as well. Yeah.
Yep, I said hello, Norma, first, and then now hello, Bina.
Sorry. I spoke over it a bit, so I didn't hear you. So moreness is by definition that which is extra, which is bonus. It's more. It's not better or worse, right? I mean, it's not in that better, worse category. Yes, it can be better than what you have, but it's moreness, not more. It's not quantity. its value. That's a very big point. I think that grabbed you there in a second when I said that, right? Sure or no?
Hmm.
Seemed like it. Seemed like it really connected when I said moreness is not quantity. More, right? Because we think,
Right.
more is better. Well, try that with butter. We love butter, right? Most people.
I've
Okay,
always seen it
well,
as the,
but you put too much butter on your bread
yeah,
and it's just
yeah.
horrible.
But for me, I've always, yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. For me, moreness, when it comes to, you said that it's not about quantity. I would almost have to say it's quality, but it's the unknown qualities, the things that I
Exactly.
still don't know
Exactly.
about myself.
Exactly.
It's all the unexplored, unexplained
Yes.
isms of me.
Yes. 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 Moreness is superlatives. Now, superlative, you
Okay.
think, superiority. No, 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 no. Superlatives as in wonderful, magical, magnificent, excellent, fantastic. That's moreness, yes? It's that bonus. It's
Yes.
really, you might as well say moreness is magic, because magic is bonus to me. Yes, it's extra. It's stuff that you don't
Because
expect
you
to
have to
get.
take the
And when you
character.
get it, it's like, man, this is so cool. This is it. Moreness is awesome. Yes. So we're going to get into the superlatives. That's why I left it off a little bit. And I think that I want to start with this as we go right now. Get into that,
Okay. Yeah,
open
good.
that.
Like I said, I just thought it would
No, I
be
love it.
helpful
I
for
love it.
some of the
Oh,
people listening
absolutely.
who
Absolutely. Absolutely.
don't know.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
though we're on the page, a lot of times we have a lot of terms that
Correct.
are from
Correct.
the dictionary of
Correct.
power that are life
Correct.
terms that
Correct.
most people don't know.
Correct. And that's a good point. This is what I was saying about not holding back. Yes, as we develop with Way of Impeccability, we have in Way of Impeccability, one of the core components that makes Way of Impeccability truly something special is your dictionary of power. Each individual participant has their own dictionary of power. There's a communal one too, so Way of Impeccability dictionary of
Mhm.
power, because some terms like moreness, like impeccability, like trust, all these, they have a commonality and an overlap. But this means that there is a language that we use that's not different to English, like impeccability, but it's taking these words to their ultimate and taking them further, right? And taking them really into their deeper
Right.
moreness, their deeper isness, their deeper meanings. Like moreness. Moreness is not a word that you'll typically see in the dictionary. It's me. I put it together. It's not that I created or invented or made up this word. It's simply taking a known word more and you're adding a known suffix. It's part of the English language, right? So, and you can
Yes.
sort of
Yeah.
think about it a little bit. Moreness, it's like, well, if you say metalness, well, okay, it's the quality of metal. It's the quality of more.
Right.
Yeah.
So quality
So
of more.
right.
Mhm.
So when you think of it in that way, you can kind of figure it out. So, and this is almost all the terms in the dictionary of power. Yes, some are compound terms like trusting without trust without trusting, or trusting without trusting. It's a very powerful concept, right?
Right.
And you have to kind of think about it a bit. It might not be obvious, but almost all of them, if you do think about it a bit, then you'll figure it out, right? You have to kind of stretch your brain a little
Mhm.
bit. And this is cool. So this is, like Sher says, we have this vocabulary. Now, if you don't know, ask, right? Don't let that put you off. But I would say, before you ask, if you hear a term and you have this, and actually this is something I meant to actually have a discussion with you about, you, just as a default, just as a
Mhm.
powerful tool. When we come across something that we don't recognize or don't know, our brain, our first habit from a lifelong habit is to say, oh, I don't know. And then the next step is, what happens when you don't know? You've got to kind of find out to ask. Why don't we instead default to say, let me see if I can figure out what it is in context? Almost
Problem
always
solved.
we actually can. Once we say oh, I don't know. But by don't know doesn't mean
Mm.
I cannot know, right? Or it's
No, but I don't
unavailable to
know.
me.
Yeah, I don't know
Right?
comes from condition. That's part of that
Exactly.
TSP.
Exactly. Exactly. So when I encounter something new, I say, oh, let me see if I can figure this out, what it is. I love doing that.
Hmm.
It is super fun. And particularly with words, concepts, ideas, conceptions like what we are sharing. Almost always, if you do a little bit of, you know, figuring out, you start to connect to the context. You can go forward and backward and you say, oh, okay, well, duh, you know. But you got to just make that effort to unhook from the I don't know to I can figure it out, right? Or I like to figure it out. I want to figure it out. Very seldom is that not possible. So only ask after you've made the effort to figure it out. You know, I'm not just saying this from my own point of view. I'm really not one to try and give advice, but this is a really powerful suggestion. Why? Because it will enhance
It
your
is.
ability to connect and understand the world, and it's just going to make you smarter. Sorry, there's just no way around this. It's going to make you more capable
Yeah.
and more competent
It
because you're just
enhances
shifting a little
confidence.
tiny thing. It changes everything. It's huge, right, Chef?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I
huge.
also
It's
believe it
huge.
enhances I believe it enhances confidence as well.
Precisely, precisely. So there's many benefits. I didn't even want to spell out all the benefits because they kind of the benefits, right? So this is a
Well, yeah.
massive big deal when you look at it in that way. You know, to see that, hey, when you shift
Mhm.
into this modality of saying I want to figure it out for myself, it just changes everything. It's
Yeah.
really cool. Let me just bring this up so I can see the comments here. Wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, please ask, please ask. You know, if anybody has any questions. Uh, there we go. Why isn't it showing my comments? When I click on it, I don't see the comments at all. This is the strangest thing. I've never seen this before on Facebook. Oh,
It's happened to me pretty frequently with
oh.
Facebook and Zoom. Something
No, I
about
mean,
their integration. I'm not quite sure.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's on the live, you know. Normally I always click on the pictures and I see it and
Hmm.
Ah, very strange. Anyway, so this thing of, you know, the vocabulary, just hear it and allow it to be. And also, you know, just trust that it will sort of make sense if you don't get stuck on, I don't know, because then your brain is looping on that and it essentially shuts down your
Yep.
ability to connect to what will supply it, right? And usually there's
Yes.
almost always enough context to figure out whatever you don't know. I cannot emphasize enough what a powerful technique this is. It's really something huge. It's a
Hmm.
very big deal. So just a good practice to do. And it just enhances your ability to, like you say, sure, your confidence and your competence gets enhanced
Yes.
profoundly. It is, there you go, there you go, there you go. Now I see everything. So wonderful, wonderful. I see all the comments and everything. All right, so I'm going to shift into this introduction of the project. So from about next week, if we get through it all this week, which I hope we do, and I hope, and we should, next week we'll start the actual story. So this is going forward. I'm going to be sharing a really profound, really big deal, very layered story that has lots and lots in it, right? It's very exciting because it's not just a story, it's a vision, right? It's a vision of moreness. It's a vision of ways of being, of ways of living that are outside of the usual, right? As you're going to see in a minute, right? But first, though, I'm going to provide the underlying context in which it all rests and which supports it all. And the other thing is, you know, this is just the introduction, and I haven't made a massive effort to invite everybody to it because, well, you know, many already know this, especially those that know me, and this is something, you know, you can watch on the replay. But next week, I will make an effort to invite everybody, and I hope to see everybody I know, you know, come and be supportive and be here. So the same thing, anybody in group, if you get this far in the video, to come. Brilliant, Janet is here too. Hello, Janet, perfect timing. So I'm about to explain the underlying foundation that's going to lead to me sharing one part of this bigger foundation.
Hmm.
So am I screen sharing? Yes. So it's this Way of
Yes.
Impeccability Moreness project. I want to make this full screen. Uh, there we go. Just so that we see the fullness, because the art, the beauty of this is part of the sharing. So, well, this is it's set up as a course, as a program. I'm not going to be doing it that way. I'm going to be doing it as a capital R reading. Now, a capital R reading means that I'm not reading the story and, I read it, and when something comes up, something pops up, I pause, or somebody has a comment, an insight, a takeaway, whatever, and they jump right in, right? So it's reading with multiple interruptions. They're not really interruptions, but multiple breaks, and we go on tangents. We go explore in depth. I explain what goes on behind the scenes, or somebody says, that relates to my story when I was 3.5. And whatever, or some new
Mhm.
profound insight or revelation in their life, right? So capital R readings are about extracting the fullness from whatever content we are engaged in. This is very profound. But if you were doing this as a course, which you can do as a program, you would say, first thing, please make a short video and simply tell us. And she said, tell me what? Sorry, sir. Nope, 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 nope,
We
nope.
did.
You've got to
I
simply
was like,
come
you
up
left
with
it
it on
off.
your own. That's the whole point of the exercise, is you've got to figure out what this could possibly mean, right? And of course, there's no right or wrong, doesn't it? And that's the first step there, to kind of realize, I've got to unhook a bit from convention. Yes. So you're free to do anything you like. But
Yep.
there's a lot of implication to it as well, because what you are going to tell is going to tell us a lot about you. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's the point is, you see already just from this one simple little exercise, the layered sophistication that's going on here. Yeah. And this is what it's all about,
Mhm.
right? We are looking for that moreness. So this is the moreness project, is like, other people call them master classes. I don't care for this term master class. It's too superiority organized. But you've got Way of Impeccability, which is the core. And now we are going to say, we are going to explode this and take all the moreness. It's like this inverted pyramid, with Way of Impeccability being the apex at the bottom, and all the stuff following on from it, right? So section 1 is foundations. Section 2, which we're going to be focusing on now, is nobleness, nobility, and noble. And then section 3 is expansion, application, and practice. That's just like a reaffirmation and getting into detail. You'll see in a second now this all works out, right? So foundations is, we've got the psychology of the superiority paradigm. It's very important to understand the superiority paradigm. We'll make reference to it, but it's not going to come up that much, because what we are going to be doing is exactly the antithesis of the superiority paradigm. It's not only antithesis, but also complete, profound alternative to the superiority paradigm. Alternative. It's a new
Mhm.
way of living, a new way of being, a new way of thinking, a new way of doing, a new way of interacting, a new way of communing, everything different, right? And you got self-trust, hearing and helping, which is a huge. This is about how to share, how to make space, how to connect, how to communicate, and how to interact. It's a very profound thing. It seems very simple, but it's a very big deal, right? And then we've got attentive
Mhm.
attuning. This is just an extension of what is the comes in Way of Impeccability, which is this powerful concept of attunement. And of course, what we are going to be doing, the story, there is lots of attunement in the story. And then we got perspective shifting, which of course, that was just a workshop that amplifies perspective shifting. So I actually came to the house to do this a long time ago. Anyway, it was very fun. So perspective
I
shifting,
did. I did.
super powerful, right? So then we've got section 2, which is what we are going to be sharing. And we're going to start with this, the new nobles. And we may do capital D diplomacy, but mainly this, because the new nobles, this is based on a book series, particularly book 1. That's what the name The New Nobles is the name of the first book of the Biala series, right? So book 1 is called The New Nobles, right? And then Capital Diplomacy is just a fine-tuning, really detailed, nuanced, very layered, very sophisticated point of a way of behaving with the world. And the young man story, this is an exemplification of the origins of thinking. It's how psychology forms and develops, or potentially can, right? The psychology that underlies all this. But that's not necessarily, I doubt if we'll get to that. That's a long thing there. But we're going to be focusing on this, right? The New Nobles, the heart of this nobleness, nobility, noble. We're going to use a story to exemplify this. And the story is written specifically with that purpose and intent as an implementation, as application of way of impeccability and of nobleness, nobility, and noble, right? So rather than writing it, as a treatise or a doctorate or something like that, theory, that's boring, that stuff. No, I want to show it in live so that you can interact with the people, connect with them. But we'll see when we get there. It's all in the introduction. And then this is the last part of the Moreness project, which is now we're getting these all short little things for the most part. Some of them are bigger, but still, we did some of these. We did freedom from anxiety and worry, right? It's just to understand it and know it. These are like application, detailed stuff. But really, they just like, it's like, I guess, relative to what we're going to be doing, this would be like learning how to drive a car, or driving your car and enjoying driving your car and knowing how to change the tire. Some of these things are about tire changing, yeah. Like freedom from anxiety and worry. This is something you need to know in terms of if you want to get maximum joy out of your car. But this is not the key. So what we are going to be doing, right? We are going to also be really engaging in this Moreness project, and we are. I'm zeroing in on this one course, which is a huge course, right? It's a massive course. Probably going to take us a year to go through this, right? But I'm zeroing in on this because it is representative of Moreness in its profound maximum. This is the heart and the soul of the Moreness project, this particular course, right? And the story. So the purpose of this Moreness project is application, implementation, entrenchment, exemplification, exploration, confirmation, extension, and creation of all which comprises you. You. Yes, that means you, Sher, that means you, Norma, that means you, Janet, that means you, Bina, that means you, anybody who's listening here. Yes. And as you know, as Bina said, she knows from personal experience, having experienced some of this already, how profound this is. We are looking to connect to you. I'm not here to tell you anything. I have no interest in telling you anything. I have no interest in getting you to believe me either. No. I'm simply looking to connect to that Moreness which I already see and know is in you. I've practiced the skill, and we are going to get into the skill. It is the skill of seeing Moreness, perceiving Moreness, interacting with Moreness, making space for Moreness. This is a profound way of being. And our main character coming later, Biala Noble, this is what she does all the time, right? We're going to see this in action. This is precisely what it's all about. Making space for your Moreness, not mine, yours. Yes, you'll see mine too, but it's about you. We're learning how to think, perceive, discern, perspective shift, zoom out, sophisticate, multi-layer, morify, intuit, implicatify, deliberate, explore, and. Yes, and that's deliberate, not deliberate, deliberate. See, right there now, I did a whole bunch of things, and here we get into the capital or reading part of things. You say, sophisticate. I never heard this word. Well, that doesn't exist. Do you know what I mean? Yes, of course you know what I mean, right? The same thing with to implicatify. Yes, this is part of English, people, a part of any language. You can take words and add suffixes and prefix, and you get to know what they mean, right? So that's how the words came about in the first place. It's part of languages. I'm not actually making up a new word. I'm simply utilizing the word in a way that's not typically word. To sophisticate right? This is the action of being sophisticated and to apply sophistication. It's very obvious, right? And to morify is to take something ordinary and to see the moreness in it and to apply that moreness, connect to that moreness, you're morifying it. Yes, we are taking this live and lives in general and morifying it in what we're doing. Yes, we're sharing in a
Yeah.
way. I'm reading a
Yeah.
story and I'm going to morify. That's what capital R reading is morifying whatever you're reading. Right, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes.
Jump in anytime. Jump in anytime. So these are all
Yes.
powerful
No, no, no.
things
I'm
that we,
listening with.
yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I just like to have involved. All right. So here we come to the heart and soul and core of it. Yes. We'll be focusing intensely on your exquisiteness of being, which is already you, finessing our way to deliberate access. Exquisiteness will be our emphasis. We're going to connect and relate absolutely everything in this Moreness project to exquisiteness. Your exquisiteness, your exquisiteness. Not mine, not anybody else's, yours, right? And this means that exquisiteness is going to have to develop, blossom. It's going to have to lotus.
Yeah.
Right, sir? All right.
Yep.
So
Yes.
please
Exactly.
elaborate. Actually,
Exactly.
before you
That's pretty
elaborate
much what I thought of.
on getting your exquisiteness to
Mm.
lotus, right? You can elaborate in a second, but will you please reread this slide? This is a super critical, important slide. So
I
please,
got it.
if you wouldn't mind, just rereading it.
Okay. We'll be focusing intensely on your exquisiteness of being, which is already you, finessing our way to deliberate access. Exquisiteness will be our emphasis. We're going to connect and relate absolutely everything in this Moreness project to exquisiteness, your exquisiteness. And I will say that this is where I got stuck when Sil was sharing this with me. I got stuck because well, I might be giving this away, but um, I got stuck because I was not understanding, how I could get to elevate or get to be to that level of exquisiteness of being. Um, and I think that as we go through the stories, that's going to be something that I discover exactly what that means to me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right
Exactly.
now, it feels like I described to you the other day, Phil, where I said that right now I'm not sure if I'm up to this task, whether or not
Good.
I have those
Good.
qualities.
Good.
And so then I described myself as being a blank sheet of paper or
Yes.
a page in a book,
Yes.
ready to be written on and colored.
Yeah. Yes.
So
And
to
this is
me,
the
that's what
okay. Sorry.
to me that's my intent. For that's my purpose, my
Yes. Yes.
for my interest in this program
Yes. And this is
was being able to know
appropriate.
what I'm going to write on that page and then just let it happen.
Exactly. Exactly. Not knowing, not having any idea, having no clue as to what this might mean. This is absolutely and utterly appropriate. Why? Because there is no way to know. It's
Yes.
moreness. Yeah. So how can we know ahead of time? It's moreness. We can't know ahead of time, but we have to trust that we can. We have to trust
Yes.
that we can connect to our moreness, to moreness itself. If we don't trust, it will never happen. So we have to say and go outside and totally shift our mindset to say, wow, I've sort of been very humble and modest all my life, but I have to now be almost in a way, well, I'm saying I can do more, I can be more. Oh, man. See,
And like
we
we
have to
talked about
step up.
yesterday,
We have to change that mindset
that
to not
being overly humble and
precisely,
right.
precisely. It's a
Yeah, being
false
overly
ego.
humble and modest
Okay.
can be
Right.
Yeah, it can be egotistical, it can be arrogant,
Exactly. But
in a way that we
right.
don't believe that we
Right,
are.
right. But not only that, though,
Yeah,
we need to step up into a different way of being to say, I have no clue whether or not I'm going to be able to connect to my exquisiteness, to cultivate my exquisiteness, to be more. But I am going to
yeah,
at least make the attempt to find out what it's all about. Then I can decide whether or not I can or cannot. I don't have the data to even evaluate whether or not I'm capable. Right? Sure.
yes, exactly. That's
You,
why I'm
you
so,
just don't know. Just don't know. So we'll
no,
see what's involved
no.
and we'll see what it's all about. And the more you see, the more you say, wow, okay. Oh, I see what all is involved. Then I can decide, is this for me or not? Likely, at least the people that I know, there's no way they will not, because I already see it in you. I see that moreness. Not just you, but anybody who's here now, right? I don't know who else has joined, but you and Norma and Janet and Bina. The exquisiteness, the moreness, it's there. It just needs practice. It just needs coming out. It just needs scope to expand and flower and to lotus. And why do I say to
Yeah,
lotus? Because the lotus is a peculiar flower, right? It grows in mud, in
very,
muck, yes? And it submerges into that muck, and then it comes out every day fresh, right? It's the most incredible thing. Yeah, but that's the point. We live in kind of muddy muck, which is the superiority paradigm, just the crap and nonsense of life. Yes, and
yes,
there's a lot of it around, but that doesn't mean that we cannot use that in order to flower and bloom and blossom and be exquisite like the lotus. Yes. That's the magic of the
yes,
lotus.
yeah,
It's
the
not that
lotus.
it is a particularly beautiful flower. Yes, some people think so, but but the point is that it's beautiful because of the muck, not in spite of it. A very subtle point. Yes, it uses that muck as nourishment, as nutrient.
Yeah, it
It,
does. It
it
leverages it. Mhm.
exactly it leverages the muck, and that's why lotus is so special. It is so profoundly, profoundly special. Wonderful. All right.
Mhm.
Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. So this exquisiteness, we are continually going to be coming back to exquisiteness, right? Because when you think of just this term exquisiteness and exquisiteness of being, we want to have deliberate access. So if you have a dictionary of power here, right? For those of you who have your own dictionary of power, of course, you want to add exquisiteness of being into there. You want to add exquisiteness into your dictionary of power. And also is very key. It sort of slips maybe through the cracks almost here. But this concept of deliberate access. Right now, I know, because I've made a lifetime of doing this every single day, of perceiving and recognizing and seeing the moreness in others. So I know it's there, but I also know that most people don't have deliberate access to their moreness. They sometimes accidentally or incidentally connect to their moreness, their exquisiteness, right? And moreness and exquisiteness, not necessarily the same thing here,
Mhm.
but they don't have deliberate access. So this point of getting to have
Because
deliberate
Phil,
access, go ahead.
right. I was gonna say on that. I know for a lot of people, myself included, people have come from very, difficult backgrounds, let's say, um, believing that they have deliberate access to exquisiteness, to this moreness, just
Exactly,
believing that they can, or that they deserve
exactly,
it, or that they're worthy of
exactly,
it.
exactly,
Um, that's a
exactly.
that's a minor hurdle. I'm not going to say it's a that anybody can do it. I'm going to say it is a minor hurdle. You can do it.
Yes,
You can get over
yes,
that.
correct,
Um,
correct, correct,
I'm
correct,
climbing over it. I'm probably
correct,
like right
correct,
now on top
correct,
of the barrier,
correct. And
looking down at the other side.
the key to deliberate access is to do exactly what you did earlier, to say, I have no idea what this is about, but I'm going to continue
Yeah.
anyway.
Yep. Yep.
I'm
Just
going to
keep going.
continue anyway. I have no clue whether I what it is all about, what it means, what it is. I have no idea, but I'm going to continue anyway. Yes, it's a very
Right,
profound thing.
exactly.
So just you have to just continue and trust without knowing. Yes, we have trust without trusting, but this is trusting without knowing. Another concept to add to your
And
dictionary of power.
that can be kind of a scary thing to do, but
Yes, it
once you
can
do
be.
it,
It can
but once
be,
you
but
do it the first couple of times, you're just like, well,
exactly,
I didn't get it
exactly.
last time.
Exactly. And this is the magic and the power and the potency of moreness. Because once you trust without knowing and you venturing into moreness, you always get rewarded. Always. Because you get,
Yeah,
well, because you're venturing into moreness. How can you not get rewarded? You see? So, but you
exactly.
can't do it for the reward. It's like the universe tests you to say, do you really want moreness? You have to want it. You have to really, really want it. You have to intend it. And then the universe will reward you and give it to you, right? But it's not a reward simply for just wanting it. It's a reward for doing, for trusting, because that signifies that you really want it, that willingness to put yourself out there, to be vulnerable, to say, I have no clue, I don't know, I'm blank, I'm open, right? That is a very, very powerful gesture to the universe that says, I'm serious about this. Really, really, really
Mhm.
serious about this. I want more. I want this moreness. I want this exquisiteness. Yeah, very powerful. Very, very, very powerful. Very powerful. All right. Celebrating your exquisiteness, our exquisiteness, is our initial awareness, not the only awareness of exquisiteness we'll connect to. Application of exquisiteness will be the fulcrum point of this entire bonus project. We're going to leverage that celebration into detailed implementation and deliberate usage. So we'll get there. This is again trust, right? So this slide here. So well, I don't know what all this means. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah,
Good,
I was
good,
just gonna say, can you
good.
explain that? But I'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, we're just going to celebrate our exquisiteness, right? As our initial
Yeah,
awareness. First, we're celebrating it. Even we're celebrating the fact that that we have exquisiteness. So, but I don't know what my exquisiteness is. It doesn't matter. I'm celebrating that it's there. I'm celebrating an unknown. Let's put it this way. Let's say your birthday is next week, right? And you're expecting like some big present to come, right? We said, well, we're going to celebrate that present. What is it? We have no idea, but we're celebrating it now. See? Same thing. So it's
okay.
a preemptive celebration, but we're getting into celebratory mode because it puts us into the appropriate mindset, right? Because now you're in an anticipatory mindset, you're in an excitement mindset, you're in a positive mindset. What a wonderful mindset to be when you know you've got a big present coming. Isn't that a magical time, that leading up to getting the present, right? It's a wonderful state of being to
Right.
be in. So why not have this all the time? This is precisely the mindset with moreness, because with moreness, you're always expecting these wonderful presents to come, because that's part of moreness. You're always getting these capital G gifts from the universe. It's how the whole thing works, right? Exquisiteness is our ability to appreciate that moreness for what it is. It's
Wait.
our ability to
you-
appreciate those gifts. This is our exquisiteness. To to appreciate fully.
I'm writing it down.
Please, 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 please. Bina, Norma, Janet, any comments, any questions so far?
Um, that's right there. Now it makes sense why you were
It,
emphasizing that word and that key point that you just made, the
yeah,
definition of it, or not
yeah,
definition, but
exactly.
your view of what exquisiteness is.
It's
The
coming.
ability to
That's
fully
only one
appreciate.
part of it. Right. So
Yeah,
now we've got
but
a start, right? Under exquisiteness in your dictionary of power, you can add this as an extended understanding, and there's more coming. There's more coming. Yeah,
yes, yeah. Well,
yeah,
see, and the things that I'm noticing something, the things that have eluded me for a while now when it comes to moreness, um, were positive things about myself. And as you said earlier, grace. Uh, I'm not so sure as if that relates back to my confidence or just to still working on shifting beliefs. Because even though I've done all of this work, there's still a lot of beliefs that are hanging around in the background that are changing. They're always evolving. They're always shifting. That's kind of why I'm excited about doing this particular program, this course, whichever we want to call it. Just because, then it gives me a little bit more, gives me something else to look to and to turn to and point to and say, see, here's my proof. Because everything negative that I think about myself is based on the BS of, superiority
Exactly. Superiority
thinking.
paradigm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. You must be answering comments.
Yeah. 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 No, wonderful. Wonderful. So, yes, just to the reason why Sher is here is because Sher and I have started doing this, the Moreness project, particularly nobleness, nobility, noble. Um, we started doing it, just the two of us, right?
Hmm.
And doing it as the program that it is, and which is very profound, which means Sher's doing the repeat backs, the takeaways, the tasks and exercises, and all the Moreness. And this is a big undertaking that Sher's undertaking, which is very powerful. It's very cool. So we as
It
we
is.
go through, so Sher's
It's a
doing it
whole
twice, in other words. Right. Go ahead.
still
Go ahead, Sher.
still the same path, but a new
Right.
adventure on this
Exactly.
path.
Exactly. So this is just essentially we're doing it again because we've already gone through this, the two of us, but we're doing it again because this is something that can be done multiple times. So there's always more. There's always more. It's very layered and it's interconnected. And the nature of the sharing is such that it's always connected to more. So you can always follow on any of those tendrils that connect to the other moreness, right? Those interconnected pathways. It's quite
Yes.
fantastic. So we're going to be doing it essentially twice, and during the week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, I'll be doing more of this with Sher, and as we do it, where we typically did this before and we didn't make it live, we're just going to do it live. You want to come and see what we do? You're welcome. We're just going to do whatever we've been doing, just the same. And maybe some others will also do that. We'll see. But this is a very profound thing, and it's really potent to be able to do this.
I would hope
It's because
so.
it's never a duplicate. It's a reaffirmation. It's a new connectivity. It's a fantastic way of doing it. It's very profound. It's very, very, very profound. Right. Sounds good.
It is.
Sure, Norma says, and, and she said, sounds good. She. I love that. No. Yes. Yes. Sure is a she.
Uh, uh,
Yeah. Or share
that's
is a
okay.
share. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Let's continue.
Yes.
Let me put the sound off. Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
There we go. No, I mean, I had to re-click on the page to bring up the comments, and then it brings up the audio automatically. I need to screen share. Wonderful. Janet, any comments? I'm keen to hear from you, Janet. I'm keen to hear. And of course, Norma and Bina, always from you guys. Always. What does this precisely mean for our exact behaviors and beingness? And when we say this about your exquisiteness, right? We already been talking about this. Is our initial awareness not the only awareness? Sorry, I went backwards. Where are we going now? Where are we going? There we go. What does this precisely mean for our exact behaviors and beingness? We'll be implementing how to be exquisite through connecting all the content to you specifically and individually via this intent, and also doing so collectively. Now, of course, in the sharing, I'm mainly going to be doing so collectively. But this is why I'm so thrilled that
Hmm.
Sher is willing to be here, because it enables me to connect it to her individually. And you watching and seeing this from the outside, who's not necessarily here in person, right? You get to see how it connects to Sher individually. And also, because I'm also making an effort to connect it collectively, you can use the one to leverage it and give you examples, ideas, understandings of how to connect it to yourself. individually. Now, when you see how it connects to Sher, it doesn't mean you're going to copy
Yes.
an out because Sher is a different person, but you can extrapolate from that and say, oh, I see, I get it
Mhm.
now. Oh, okay, that one worked for me, but this might be, okay, if I tweak that a little bit, change it, that then. See, it gives you a basis from which to work to customize it to yourself. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to customize to you. This is everything about this is totally individual, right? You can't be doing something else. It's like art. Janet teaches art, right? And she'll tell you, you've got to develop your own art style. Yes, you can copy the masters, but you're going to copy for the purpose of learning what your style is. There are some people who are profound copyists, and they are incredibly skilled, and their art is to copy. Okay, but those are exceptions, right? If that's your thing, fine. But in general, though, you want to develop your own individual style. Yeah? So it's very powerful to understand this. And
Mhm.
I think we added this slide
Yes,
underneath, right? So show was when we went through this first time, there
we
was lots
did.
of
We
thinking and
did.
exploring and, leveraging and doing and throwing. And so we said an alternative perspective. What we'll be doing is an utterly preposterous endeavor in the usual scheme of things, as we are going to be making the
Mhm.
believed to be, and typically so, we're going to be making the impossible possible. This is a thoroughly grand undertaking for which we currently feel woefully underprepared and unqualified, as is appropriate psychology for an aspirant. And yeah, I'm bringing in a term that's going to come
Yeah.
in very powerfully later on.
That's,
We are aspirants,
yep.
people. We are
That's me right
aspirants. We
there.
are looking to fulfill our aspirations. And specifically, we are looking to connect, fulfill, and actualize those aspirations which we have, but they way back down somewhere, which we are so dear to us that we don't even acknowledge that we have them, not because they are so dear, but because we feel they are too grand for us to acknowledge having. But we have them. And we're
Exactly.
going to change that. We're going to change that. We're going to say those grand aspirations, they absolutely are valid. They are valid to have, they are valid to pursue, they are valid to act on. And this is what we're going to do. We are going to get to your deepest, most secret aspirations that you've hidden, because the superiority paradigm says, no, 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 because of course it doesn't want you to act on those aspirations, because it cancels
No.
out the superiority paradigm. See? So you get all
Yep.
this pressure from the superiority paradigm, from BMN logic, which is what defines our culture. Say, no, but we are going to say, yeah, here is the space where those deepest, secret, most wonderful, most profound, most noblest, most grandest of your personal aspirations, not necessarily for the world, but also for that, but your personal ones, for moreness, for exquisiteness, for joy, for beauty, for love, for grandness, all of those, here is the appropriate forum where those can get actualized, even though we have no idea what we're going to do. Now, so we're going to take on this preposterous endeavor of making the impossible possible, right? Really, really. I mean, if you're taking notes here, write that down. We are going to be making the impossible possible. You're going to see how this comes into a grand thing. The whole story, the whole story of the new nobility, the Biala series story, is all about making the impossible possible. Yes, in many, many ways. And we do
That's
it.
so
We
true.
can do it.
That
We
is
can
true.
do it. Very, very powerful.
Oh,
Very, very, very
we sure
powerful.
can, because I've been doing it. I try and do it every day.
Exactly.
My
Exactly.
life, living, just me being alive is the impossible being possible.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
and still,
Exactly.
I keep thinking of trees. When you
Yes.
think about it, I
Yes.
don't know. Most of the earth, I feel like, is an
Yes.
impossible, but it is
Yes.
possible. We're living it, see it, and live it, and
Exactly.
breathe it every day.
Exactly.
The
I mean,
elements have to
exactly.
do nothing to be grand, or to be
Exactly.
exquisite, or
Exactly.
um,
Exactly.
to be anything. They don't do anything to
Exactly.
celebrate themselves, but at
Exactly.
the same time, they are so enormously,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
exquisite, grand,
Yeah.
all of that. That
Yeah.
you just
I
wonder how. How is all that possible?
exactly. I challenge you, anybody who watches this now live or in a replay, I challenge you to show me a tree which is not exquisite.
That's it right there. I mean, Yesterday, I experienced that.
The
I'm not going to give
systematic
that
of
away.
trees, they are all exquisite. And
Yeah.
we are going to learn to tree, right? To
Yes.
use tree as
Yes.
a verb. Yeah, we are going to tree. And there's a lot in that term. This is a
Yep.
new concept that
Yep.
I
Don't
bring
discount
into
it.
things, right?
I was
And
going
so
to
you can
say,
add that to dictionary of power, but put it there, tree, verb. Yeah, this is a very powerful thing to be able to tree.
yeah,
Very, very, very powerful. Very, very, very powerful.
it's
We'll
true. It's
start.
true.
It's really
Yep.
cool. It's really cool. We'll start by implementing the essential necessity of capital R receptivity, which is at core profound love. Norma? Norma is very big on love and shares a lot about love. Now, yes, most of us are, but Norma shares it and communicates it, right? It's a big deal. So let me reread that again for you, Norma, right? It's a really profound thing. And it's a really big deal. We'll start by implementing the essential necessity of capital R receptivity, which is at core profound love. This is not a simple connectivity. I could probably take the whole hour or 2 hours or more and just go into the nuanced layeredness of that one single sentence. How capital R receptivity is at core profound love. Exactly. No such thing as a tree which isn't exquisite. Yeah, we don't even see the whole tree. Precisely, Norma. What a profound, magical comment from Norma. We don't even
Very.
see the entire tree. Precisely, Norma.
That's
And this
true.
is what moreness is. It is to understand that the tree is more than we see. Yes, much, much more. And
Yeah.
likewise, so are we. We are more than we see. People are more than we see. They have those roots of theirs. And we are looking to bring all of this into full treeness. Yes. So that we can not, we might not physically see it, but we can feel it, we can connect it, we can know it's there, we can interact with it, right? It's very powerful.
Yes.
So this capital R receptivity, and we'll come back to it. It's a conception that will come up many, many times, right? It's a profound love for purpose, for process itself, for the journey, the path, the adventure, the exquisite magic, and most of all for ourselves, that greater self, which is comprised of more than one and is one. This profound love is based on deep, deep respect and trust of moreness, our collective moreness. Now, this slide has a ton in it, right? Not only this concept of capital R receptivity, which is when we get into the detail of it, you're going to see it's essentially a life philosophy. Yes. And it's very core to what we are going to be doing. And we'll get into it later. Otherwise, I'm going to spend all the time on this. But also look at this next sentence here, right? Right. That just a part of it, that greater self, right? We're going to be connecting to this greater self, which is comprised of more than one. To understand your greater self is more than one, right? You have many aspects to you. And also is one. It seems to be contradictory there, which is comprised of more than one and is one. Pay attention, people. It's capital O1. Yes? See? And pay attention here, right? Very, very profound. So we are saying that we are really, our exquisiteness is connecting to our greater self, which is the entirety of you, all your individual little selves, that are all your different aspects, ways of being, right? And you putting all of those together, and we can connect to that wholeness there. But also, we're saying is one, capital O1, is the all, in other words. Our greater self and the all is one and the same. We are just a bit disconnected right now, so it seems separate, but it's not really. Yes? It's like all the trees in the forest. They're all connected via their roots. The forest is a one. The forest is a one. Yeah? The greater self of the tree is the forest. Yeah? Very powerful. Very powerful. All right. So lots in this slide. We'll come back. We are all of everything. Yes, exactly, Norma. Yes, exactly. So we are going to really get into this and understand our exquisiteness of being, and that connectivity isn't only about being us as this individual tree. No, it's about being us as forest also. Yeah. And to see how the two are the same. So what we are going to be doing in its totality, right? This is a quote to exemplified. Typically, the quotes are coming from this big overview perspective, and it ties it all together in an abstract, profound way. So we are going to be making space for moreness to infuse. Shows blank paper, a blank page, a blank
Yeah.
sheet, a blank canvas. It's making
Mhm.
space for moreness to infuse. That openness, that willingness to say, I don't know, and be okay with I don't know, not have it as a block, as a limitation, as a barrier. No, but do the reverse to say, I don't know, which is clearing the space for moreness to infuse. That this quote was very deliberately put together. Yes, there's a lot of thought went into this. Yeah, so that word
I think,
infuse is very, very precisely and carefully and exquisitely chosen. It is an exquisite use of the
yeah.
word in the context. Yes, making space for moreness to infuse. This is what we're going to be doing. Yeah,
Mhm.
very, very cool. Very, very wonderfully cool. All right. So
Yeah.
yeah, the tasks and exercises, if you want to do them, I'm just going to read through them just to give an insight into the exquisiteness of the program itself, should you choose to do that. Now, you don't need to, you can just go along for the ride and enjoy the sharing of it as we go forward, right? But for instance, just to give an idea, please note down in detail in a space where you can regularly access what your expectations are in connection with this project and you're doing of it. Now look at that little addition there in parentheses. There's a lot implied there. Please note down in detail in a space where you can regularly access. Look at the implications. We are going to make every effort to be looking at implications. We are going to develop this as not only a skill, but as a habit skill, as something we regularly do. We almost do by default to look at implications, because this entire project, all of the sharing, this entire capital R reading, the whole story has got implications upon implications upon implications, right? It is, there's just a plethora of implications to come. So in a space where you can regularly access, this means that you're not doing this just as a one-time thing. You want to go back to these, to reaffirm them, reconnect to them, right? So you want to have it in a journal or a diary that's something you
Mhm.
access every day, or even make a list of those expectations and print it out and stick it up on the wall somewhere, right? But in any place, wherever it is, right? Put it in a sticky note on your computer, something like that, something that you can access regularly, right? Because those expectations are obviously going to change and morph, and you're going to realize, wow, some did come, some are like, some I didn't even, I under expected, or maybe I don't know if you can over expect when it comes to moreness, right? But nonetheless, it's very revelationary to see where you were at and where you are going, right? So there's a profound leveraging, self-leveraging tool involved in taking down in detail what your expectations are in connection with this project, right? Because you're going to realize, you know what? I was unable to expect what is going to come. Later, you're going to see,
Mhm.
I had no idea of the moreness, and this is appropriate. So when we expect moreness, it's a very open expectation, because we have no idea what's involved in that moreness. And to get to that space where we can expect moreness without having any clue what it is, this is an incredibly powerful thing to do, because we get surprised. We get surprised by our own self, our own moreness. And this is a very potent thing, to be surprised by yourself. This is an accomplishment which we're going to strive to achieve. Yes, it's a very powerful thing to be surprised
Mhm.
by yourself. It's really cool too. It's really fun also. And the next one here is, what is your intent for doing this self-expansion moreness project? Now, if you're just along for the ride, you're just listening, you can say, what is your intent for listening, for participating, just for being here, right? Just for hearing it. What is your intent, right? Because the more clear you are about your intent, the more you're going to get out of it. The greater the clarity of intent, the greater the amount of connective tendrils, connective connections that are out there, right? And the more things become relevant and pertinent to you. So clarity of intent leverages you, makes you more connective, more resonant to what's out there, right? Because otherwise, if you don't have clarity, then stuff just goes by you. It just bounces. Your self, your greater self, the universe, whatever you want to call it, right? Your subconscious doesn't know what to filter without clarity of intent. So we tend to just filter out most of it because otherwise it's overwhelming. It's just meaningless data. But the moment you have clarity of intent, you open up filters for what is pertinent and relevant to you. And now suddenly you get all of the stuff, which is like, wow, now it's moreness, not just data, because it's connected to what you intending. Yes, very, very powerful. Very simple thing, but very powerful. If you were to add a slide or slides to this introduction, what would you add? Norma, Bina, Janet, what would you add? If you're still here, I don't know. I think Bina may have had to go because it's still Eid, you know. But still, if any of you are still here, and anybody watching the replay, yeah, please make a comment there. Always come back to it. Even in the replay, it puts the timestamp as to where it is. So I'll know this is right at the end here somewhere, and this is going to be, you know, and I can go and look up and see what you're responding to, right? So please, you know, if you were to add a slide or slides to this introduction, what would you add? What are your wishes, hopes, and desires going into this project? Again, clarity of intent. But specifically, what are your wishes, hopes, and desires going into this project? Sure, I suspect somewhat you've been giving things thought. So let's ask Sure, what are your wishes, hopes, and desires going into this project?
You know, that's kind of hard I'll be honest, it's hard for me to answer because
Yes, that's why I asked.
yeah, I could say I really have made a lot of effort not to hope for things, instead to just be curious.
Look at that.
So
Look at that. Make an effort not to hope. Is that what you said? Not to hope for things.
Yes,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Not to hope for things, but instead to be curious and to be
Exactly.
non-expectant, but to just be determined in whatever I want. I can keep trying and keep, moving and working towards what I want. But for, what do I hope to come out of this? Well, understanding, more understanding, the moreness of understanding, and to really kind of discover how to package and finesse for myself, for my life moving forward, everything that I have accumulated to date. The things that I've learned, the things that I've picked up, and not reject any of it. So
yeah.
it's
That is a ridiculously powerful quote, sure. So I'm adding it in as the extra underneath, right?
Okay.
In the slides. Not to hope for things, but to be curious. Now, why do I make such a big deal out of this? Look at the implications of this, people. Look at the implications of this. Not to hope. If you're hoping for something, go ahead.
Yeah, to me, hope says that I'm not certain that I can achieve it, or that I'm worthy of it, or that it's going to happen.
Even worse.
Hope says might.
Exactly. Not only that, but if I'm hoping or wishing for something, I am assuming I know what there is to hope or wish for. And that's kind of an inadvertent arrogance, right? You're not meaning to be arrogant, but it's inadvertently so, right? That's why I'm calling it inadvertent arrogance. Again, a term for your dictionary of power, if you're making a dictionary of power, right? This that's inadvertent arrogance. It's a huge concept, right? So this point I'm making, that's why I put it as a quote here, sure. Not to hope for things. It's I am saying I don't know what there is to hope for. How can I possibly hope for it? That's what moreness is all about. But to be curious means I'm open to what might be that I cannot even yet imagine. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. I can celebrate that. I can
absolutely.
celebrate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm celebrating moreness. I have no idea what it is, but I know it's going to come. I don't know what my present's going to be, but I know
Well,
it's
see, that's
coming.
kind of where I am right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's
You know,
coming, though. I know it's
so
coming.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say so
yeah,
many people do get it, and
yeah,
sometimes I can be a
yeah,
little bit behind the train,
yeah,
but that's
yeah,
okay. Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
take longer to chew and digest my food.
Right,
So
right,
yeah.
right. But Cheryl always says, to be honest, I have no idea. And then moreness comes. I love this. Every time Cheryl says that,
I,
then immediately there's followed by moreness. It's too cool. But that's been open, you see.
maybe that's my
That's been open. Yeah, exactly. But it's
yeah.
because you're removing this pressure on you that says I'm supposed to say something. Yeah, supposed to and
Yeah,
should
I'm
are
supposed to
terrible.
have an answer.
So you clear the
Yeah.
slate and you
I'm
say, I don't
supposed to
know.
have an answer. I'm supposed to know. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
But
see,
this
and
is
that's the
fantastic.
thing when you were talking, but when you were talking about I don't know earlier, I don't know what's coming. It that is way different than the I don't know the answer to that, or
Exactly.
I don't know what
Exactly.
you're talking about.
Exactly.
But if
Exactly.
for me, when I say I don't know something,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
clearing, like you
Yeah.
said, the pathway
Yeah.
for me to say I don't know, but let me verbally explore it. Let me try
Exactly.
and figure this out loud.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um,
And
that's how I problem solve is out loud.
right, right. And also we need to unhook the association with I don't know, meaning I am stupid.
That's a big one for me that that I'm
Was,
still
was,
working on.
was,
I'm
was,
still
was,
working on.
was,
Okay,
was.
was sorry, yeah,
Thank you.
was
It's no longer, because you do say I don't know
that's
and you
true.
say it quite happily. So it's definitely you used to have this association. It wasn't intentional,
Yeah,
it wasn't deliberate, but it was there by default, just came about, right? Inadvertent
yeah,
association that they got tied together. But you became conscious of it and you started unhooking from it to say, yeah, I don't know. So what? That doesn't make me stupid. It just makes me ignorant. What's wrong with ignorance?
right,
We are
right.
all ridiculously ignorant compared to the world and the universe and everything that's out there. So what? Right? I
That's
have
true.
no problems being ignorant. As a matter of fact, I even celebrate my ignorance. Why? Because it means that there's opportunity to learn, and I love learning. So it's like, yay, yeah. It's like getting
Mhm.
presents. If you already own everything, well, you can't enjoy presents anymore.
Right, that's
See,
true. Yeah.
when you get to that point where you have everything, you lose the ability to get presents. That's kind of sad, is it not?
Yeah.
So when it comes to
Mhm.
knowing everything, yes, okay, it might be where I'm headed, but I kind of hope I never get there because I love the presence, the gifts of learning. I absolutely love those, right? This is moreness. Now, of course, there's always more, and that's the thing. There's always more, right? So there's always more to
Yes.
acquire from the learning point of view and
Well,
awareness point of
especially
view.
since every change is the one constant in the universe.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how we could
right.
ever absolutely reach um, the ultimate knowledge.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly, and we have we are no hurry to get there because we love the journey. We love the moreness of presence. And for me, I figure that as I learn, I start to forget things, and then I rediscover them, and so it just starts looping after a while. And I'm happy with that. I can do
Yeah.
things over and over again. It doesn't matter. So also, I want to make a key point here. You see how I added something into the program, right? If we go back here, we'll see how the slides work. You see, it goes left and right, yeah, and there's the left and right
Yeah.
arrows. But if I go to the next one, you'll see there's also an up arrow, right? Because we're on the slide underneath. Or if we go to the
Hmm.
original, it's on top and there's a bonus underneath. Yes. This is me
Yes.
adding what gets shared and what adds to the program. I did it before in another slide too. And sometimes they go 2 or 3, 4 deep. Yeah. So this is powerful. Hey, hello,
Right.
Ramsey. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I'm glad you're here. We're just wrapping it up, Ramsey, but I really hope, Ramsey, you watch the replay. Yes, I truly hope,
Uh-huh.
because this is all about connecting to the moreness of people, and Ramsey, you are absolutely one of those. Yes, everybody has moreness in them, but you've been making an effort to be here, which I massively appreciate. So I truly wish with all my heart that you do connect to this and participate. I love to share
Definitely.
moreness, and I to share moreness is most profound, right? So it's
Yeah.
not I'm sharing it because it's moreness, not sharing it because I think people need it. That's not part of the thinking here at
Hmm.
all, right? It's sharing because it's moreness. You want goodness for others. So to end here and come to the end of this, it's step on through the dawness to moreness. I just like to have some fun.
I
But
love that.
yeah, so we are saying we're going to have this freedom to take the usual, right, and to adapt it to our needs, to bend it,
Yes.
twist it, shape it, right, extend it, right. I mean, I could have said step on through the door to more, but it doesn't have the same ring as the door is to more. Now, the door to more is the subtitle tag on the Nobelia.org website, right? But I thought, let me go in a little bit more and look at the art here also. We've got
Yes.
a regular, ordinary person.
Transformation.
Exactly. And then we've got moreness. Yeah. And I tried to
Yes.
find them,
Yeah.
okay, they both got the hand, it's very hard to match this, but it took a lot of work, by the way, to find these two images and match them. But this is us, right? We already more, and there's other more. Yeah. It's abstract, and so there's a lot to this,
Yes.
right? And always, there's always more to all these things. There's always multiple layers. I'm going to make as much effort as I can to share and reveal those multi-layers. But you can see this here. This is very, very, very cool.
Yes.
Is there another slide? Is that the end of it? That's the end of it. All right. I couldn't see if it was just
That's
hidden
the
there or
end of
not,
it.
but that's the end of it. So I
Mhm.
love this. And next week we'll start on
So
like this.
preview.
Right. This is a preview of the Moreness project in its totality, which includes all these different modules and sections. We are going to be focusing on one particular part of it, which is the new nobility story. It's called The New Nobles. It's book one specifically, book one of the Biela series, right? And it introduces the new nobility, the new nobles, introduces Biela, the whole world, the universe, how it started. There's a long prologue to it, which is a very profound prologue, which sets it all up. So I cannot emphasize. You can ask Bina, we've been reading the story, and she knows it already, right? How much layeredness there is to it. You know some of this, the story of chapter one, but I don't think we ever read the prologue, because I don't think I ever made it available before, about the seeders, right, and the great gravity engines and all that stuff, right? Sure. So there's a lot of
Mm-mm.
new stuff coming for you that wasn't shared before, and it's very profound
Good.
stuff. Really multi-layered stuff here. Really cool, really cool. So I'm very excited to share
Good.
this. Very, very cool. And that's the point that I want to emphasize in closing here, that I'm sharing a vision of moreness, a vision of layeredness, a vision of interconnectedness, a vision of community, of communication, of interacting, of beingness, being in a different way to what we have been taught, what our usual or what our environment is, to unhook from all of that and say, no, sorry, this doesn't work for me. World, I don't want part of your superiority paradigm and dominance and games and winning and competition and all that. No, thank you very much. I want more. I want what my heart truly, truly wants. And that honest,
Yes.
that exquisiteness, that finesse, that loveliness, that profound love, that exquisiteness, this is what I want. And we are going to connect to this. Yes, very, very important. Very, very important. Sure. Anything to say before we go?
No, I don't. I'm
Ah, no,
afraid
all good,
so.
all good,
I'm
all
just
good. That was a good note to end on. Ramsey, Norma, Bina, I think Bina's left, and Janet too. They had to go likely. Anything to add? Any comments before we go? I'll give them a few moments here. I just want to emphasize again that I'm going to be sharing a story and doing a capital R reading of this profound story. And it's really a fun story. There's so much in it, but it's the sharing of it, the capital R reading. I'm not just reading the story and going from A to Z through the story. No, it's every implication, every nuance we're going to unravel, we're going to unpack to see what lies underneath it. So we're going to truly be exploring the bottom of the iceberg. When you see an iceberg, you're seeing 1/9, yeah, which is a little more than 10%. You're seeing like 12% or something like that of the total
right.
iceberg, yeah. So you're not we are going to be exploring that moreness that's underneath that you don't see, right? Very important.
Right.
Pleasure,
Okay.
Norma.
Wonderful.
Pleasure, Ramsey. I look forward to you guys. And, next week we start on the story itself. Well, we start in the introduction of the story. So that before we get to story, but next week I'm going to send a, more formal invitation to everybody on my friends list. I think I got like 2,000 friends, right? And likewise, you guys are welcome when you see the event. There's a little invite tab there somewhere, right? And you can invite people to the event that you think might be interested in this, right? And really, to emphasize this again, I am sharing a vision, an idea, a way of being, a way of living, way of understanding, way of thinking that is, to me, something I wish to put out in the world. So I'm hoping that many will eventually come to see this and say, man, this is really cool. This is a different way of doing things. Now, you don't have to follow exactly what it is, but the idea of different that is very, very, very different to the usual, and that there are different ways of being, different ways of
Yes.
doing, different ways of living, thinking, feeling to the usual. This is a profound thing. And I think our world needs this, because what has been before, the superiority paradigm, it just doesn't work. Sorry, but it's not working. Yes. So this is a very big deal to share. The grand vision of what we're going to be doing is, and now we are going to take it to its extreme, of course, right? Because that's just how I am. Take things really, I think them through all the way to the end. And so this is a very big thing that we're going to be
Right.
doing. And,
I do. The only thing I need to say,
yeah,
to
please,
hopefully before I have to jump off.
no problem. I'm done anyway. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was going to say, when you were talking about this is a vision, I hope that cues people to understand the implication that
Yeah,
um, this is not an idea you're selling. This is
exactly,
something that you're
exactly,
sharing.
exactly, exactly.
This
It
isn't,
is my
yeah,
heart, my soul, my vision that I'm
yeah.
sharing. It's an alternative which you can come and look at and perceive and see if it connects and resonates with you. Now, I know
Mhm.
people, and the people that I do know, Ramsey, all the people that I know, I've yet to meet somebody who's going to tell me no, that this is not something that they think, nah, this is nonsense and rubbish. Because when you get down to it, everybody has that core in them that wants the maximum goodness. This is what we're talking about, right? Everybody
Yeah.
wants that at core. At least all the people that I know. Yes, and I make an effort to know people. I really do. So I'm talking about our deepest core desire of being, and our moreness
Yeah.
desire, in other words, that's there, that we're not even consciously aware of, but we're going to make an effort to become consciously aware of it. Not only become aware of it, but expand it, because the full name of the Moreness Project is the Way of Impeccability Self-Expansion Moreness Project. Not
Yes.
self-development, not self-improvement, self-expansion.
Yes.
Very deliberately chosen. Not self-discovery. That's the Nobelia.org self-discovery project. That's the start. We've already done some self-discovery, but now we are going to self-expand. Very different, very, very
Yes.
powerful. Very cool. All right.
Very much.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Okay.
Wonderful. So we'll end it right there, and we'll see you on the replay. Make comments during the replay, please. Ask questions, make comments, ask questions. This is interactive. This is collaborative. And through collaboration, 1 + 1 = more. Right, sure?
Yes. Yes.
We're going
Okay.
to
Well, thank
collaborate.
you for
This is all
today.
about.
I appreciate
Oh,
it.
absolute pleasure. Thank you for being here, sir. Thank you for being here. It really helps. Really helps. It's very powerful. Very cool. All right. Bye-bye,
I
sir.
gotta
Bye-bye.
hop off.
Yes, I'm going to end the
Bye-bye.
meeting anyway, so it'll end everything.
Okay.
All right, brilliant.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, sir. Bye-bye.